Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Moyer. On this one I'm gonna explain the complex operator. On the first video I explained the comparison. Right now I want to explain the complex operator. The complex operator, right now you see we use the complex operator like we use between operator to test whether a value lies between two boundaries value. For example, we checking if a 1 is bigger than 1 is bigger than 2, or we could check at the same time one more condition to it. Like for example right here, if one source is equal to another source at the same time, and we use n keyword function with it, the keyword with it, we say source and a one source less than and equal to the boundary, or we use the or keyword, or either of those one, this become one condition with an adding like complex type to it, and or either this become true or this become true, then they will run our condition. So let's use it practically. You will see it on the ESQL code. So far those are the complex operator. If I left anything, you could add it to my video description below. So let's work on that one by one. Let's use the n first. I want to use the n. Again we're using with the if condition. If we pick the simplest one and we give a condition like if 2 is bigger than 1, which it is, and right now we want to mix it up. We want to mix one condition and with another condition, and we will say and, there's a keyword, and we say and if is 2 is bigger than 3. So right now if we check if is 2 is bigger than 1, which is true, and if we check if this become true, we write it true, and this become true, this part. But this one, if 2 is bigger than 3, which is not, that become false. So overall, like true and false become false. All the condition is false, they will ignore it. So let's write that one. But if this is 2 is bigger than 0, of course 2 is bigger than 0. This condition, this part is true, this is true, then whole condition become true. They're gonna run the code right here. But since let's make it false, what n do? You must, like this part and this section and this section must become true. So when is the status of true or yes, both sides, then they will run the code, otherwise wouldn't run it. So let's write a code and type it. Output, let me write it out and come back. So we just write out the code. This is true. If that become, this condition is true, they're gonna run. That's for me, that is true. But let's write the else condition too. If it's not true, then we're gonna write it up. This condition is false. So, and let's make more. Let's also write the or condition. We're gonna write one another independent condition right here. This time we're gonna write same thing right here, but with the or condition. What this will do, either of those one is true. Like if this is true, which is true, 2 is bigger than 1 and 2 is not bigger than 3. So if is this true, that is okay, they're gonna run the condition. Either of this one is true, either this one or this one, then they're gonna run this condition. Since if both of them is not true, then they're not gonna run, they're gonna run this condition. First they're gonna run this one, the second, let's put this one second. I said second. Let's put second. Okay, it's hard decision to make. This is the second. So if this one would be true, because they're gonna run this one. One of those condition is true, they're gonna run that one. If it's not, they're gonna run that one. But let's use the exist also. Let's run that one, then use the exist, because this one they check the status if something exists in it. So let's write that one, because that way we will save some time. We will use if. I'm gonna use if. If that doesn't work, then we're gonna use different condition to it. I will say if I wanna like send this data. I wanna send data. I wanna check if this exists. Let me check. Then I will use input data, like input data dot xml dot, which is data right now. After that, if this data is exist, they give me a condition is true, otherwise they will give me a condition false. I'm gonna add both of them. Let's make this one exist. This is a true, because this is exist, they're gonna give me true. Let make me not exist. We use not with everything. Like let's say we wanna make something. What this cause there? Let me check that. Let's check. Argument come. Okay, because we didn't pass the array. Let's pass the array. Okay, now it's good. The end condition. Let's use also in the end condition. Let me use this one, the list. I'm gonna check and list if one of this data exists. End condition work like that. They check if one of this condition is true, they're gonna run through that, and then they get out. As soon they find one, they just get out, and they give you the result. We will say n so we're gonna check. Let me this. I'm gonna check like this one is exists on my list type, and what was it on the list? I'm gonna use a data. This time I want point it to data list. I'm gonna use one more function. I wanna use field value. Field value. I wanna use field value. Like get the value from the list right here. Then they check if one is exists right here. And as is always like working, as is true, as is null. Like for example, if let me create one more. Those condition I make you confused already, but this way it work. I don't want to even make complicated stuff from it. Let's say, for example, then we use as keyword, as with one of the condition. You could say as true, you could say as false, you could say it's null, it's null. You could one of the condition you add, like if it's true, it is. You could also the not. You could use it mixed with anyone as not. You could use as not null. If it's not null, you say it is not null. You say it is not null. It is null, you could say. it is null, it is not null. So the condition, if this one is null, if this is not null, they're gonna say it is not null. If this is otherwise, if it was null, then they say gonna null. So we're gonna add this because they're gonna cause exception. And was n using in keyboard. And this exists. Okay, what else left? Unlike is this is a little bit complicated. Like thing is start, like we use it as a wildcard. We use that one. I'm gonna explain the wildcard because it's taking some time. You could come right here and learn it. You see, we comparing is operator with any of data. Is null, is not. You see, like a body or traded company, like we put I. So when I said anything start with I, and also we gave them a this minus minus. You see, like when you give this one to it, like I with two more. Like for example, this one has a I value and two more value it come. Then that is fine, that is the truth, they're gonna run the code. And also you could use that one, percentage character match string of 0 more character. You could come learn the wildcard, has a many condition to it, but let's run our code. If we find a time, we're gonna do that as well. So let's test it. I'm gonna send this one, we're gonna check one is not right here, the give is false. Let's go and get in. The first condition I already explained, that would be false because the first is true, this is true, 2 is bigger than 1, but the second condition is not true, it is false. 2 is not bigger than 3, this is false. When both condition is one is true and second false, they're not gonna run this one, they're gonna run this code, which is up in this code, and we create the code right here. Comparison operation, result it is false. And now we're using OR with the same condition. If you use OR with the same condition, either of those one is true, they're gonna run. The first condition is true, then it's good, they're gonna run that one. So that's good, they run that one. If you check, now that is true. The second condition is true. If the third condition, they check if this is exist. Of course this is exist, they're gonna go inside because there's a data it come. If you check right here, data, and that has a data in it, and it go right here and it exists. And this one, check the one is not on the list. If you go right here, if you add it, it would be, but 2, 5, 3, there's a no one, so this is false. They're gonna run this one. You could use it with a database a lot if database exists. And you see it is false because this is not, one is not existent right here. And this we check that one if it's not null. We're using is keyword if it's not null. If the data we receiving from a list, we check if there is no data, it is null, they're not gonna run that one. But since it is not null, they're gonna run it. They're gonna go right here, which is go, and now we're gonna send it. Let's check. Because it's time up, let's just complete it. Okay. And come back. Okay, now we get it. This is the false. This is the first one was false. The second is true. The also is exist is true, and this is false. The third n is a false because one is not exist, and the fourth one is not null because data was not null. Okay, see you on the next video.